Hello Internet, I'm Guy. Recently, an old friend of mine sent me a request to make reproduction and replacement ball-shaped feet for some chairs. So I bought a foot-long length of 1-inch diameter Delrin, as you can see there. The stock was a little over 1-inch diameter, so my first step is to turn it down to close to the 0.860 inch diameter that I'm looking for. I'm not sure if I got my speeds and feeds wrong here, but it is gumming up quite a bit. Those shavings are just wrapped around. They're not damaging the surface finish. But in my next passes here, once I've got this out of the way, I figured out a better speed-feed ratio that seems to work better. And incidentally, I'm showing my DRO for the carriage position there because I needed to kind of have some kind of idea of how far I needed to go on this piece of rod stock, so that I have room to put a ball end on the end, obviously. Here I'm using a grooving tool to reduce the diameter behind where the ball will be, so that the ball forming jig can fit into that space. This is something kind of tedious here. I just have to make multiple deep cuts. This tool won't move laterally, it'll only go in and out. So now I need to remove the cross slide and replace it with the ball forming jig, as you can see off to the side there. So I removed the two bolts that hold it on there, and now you can see the rotary section there that the ball forming jig will bolt onto. A couple of bolts, drop that in there. So now I need to remove or loosen the screws on the gibs here to open up this to the right diameter. I'm going to guess at the diameter based on the calibration marks on here and just do a first pass just to see how it's going to work out, and then I'll go into the full bore turning. So you can see I did a first pass, and now I've got the diameter, I think, calibrated, or I should say the radius. So what's happening now is the edge of that cutter head is getting into a wider and wider section, and it's starting to grab. You can see the plastic jumping a little bit and the jig jumping. I'm holding it really firmly so that it's controlled. But I should have started out with a larger radius and worked my way down, but I figured this material is so forgiving that I'd just go ahead and just get her done. And it's oddly satisfying to see that little moment right there where it just hits the center. Really nice. So now I'm doing the other side, and you'll see why I needed to relieve that section in the back for the cutter head to come and tuck in there. Now that reduced section is approximately a 1/2 inch, which is the diameter of the hole that I'm going to drill into the ball. That's where the leg of the chair will go eventually for this foot. So I've got that. Now I'm just going to kind of clean it up a little bit, see if there are any odds and ends that need tidying up. And then I can tidy it up a bit more with a lathe file. And by the way, there are links below in the description for the lathe file and the ball forming jig, amongst all the other links that I tend to put at the end of my videos of all the tools that I enjoy using. And as an Amazon associate, I get a small reward for if you purchase one of these items. So now I'm back to my parting tool, or slotting tool, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to part the ball off, and then I'll be able to flip it around and drill the hole. Getting in there close, and I'm going to bring in my little cardboard catcher because that thing would go flying across the room if I don't catch it. This last moment here, and Yahtzee! Got it. So now I've got it flipped over in the chuck, and I'm just going to flatten off that section with the cutter here so I have a good starting surface for the drills. I'm going to drill into here. That's where, again, where the leg of the chair will go in. It's a 1/2 inch diameter. So I'm starting with a 1/4 inch drill bit, and you can see my digital readout on the tailstock there, so I know to go exactly 0.375 inches per specifications from my friend. And that will help then the 2-flute 1/2 inch milling cutter complete the 1/2 inch hole, which is coming up next here. So there we are, that's in place, and you notice now that aligns with the flat surface that I created. So that drops in beautifully, and again, using my digital readout to make sure that I don't go too far, I'm going to end up at 0.375 inches depth of cut here. Yeah, ran over just a hair, but a couple of thousandths won't matter on a chair. So I'm just going to take it out of the chuck, and there it is. That's the finished foot. It looks pretty good. I think I hit all the dimensions within a few thousandths. And there's 3 of them that I made all together.